Greetings, mortals! Brimthen Babbles here, and today we're going to be doing a Brimthen Babbles podcast. I have with us the Nozomiitv. Hopefully I'm saying Nozomi correct. We have a new background set up today. I have this kind of dynamic thing created by the wonderful Grace. She has helped me with the old background set up these little random moments that'll happen throughout the podcast, like skeletons sweeping the floor, rats going by, bats flying through the windows, stuff like that. So if you notice them, that's the new background that me and her worked on, and that was awesome. But what is a Brimthen Babbles podcast? Well, it's where I bring on just about anybody that I find interesting, and kind of just chat with them, see what they do, see what their stuff is, what hobbies they're into, that kind of thing. So, welcome on the podcast here, Nozomi.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Well, I am a VTuber, streamer. I do a bunch of things. I play Valorant, I play League, I do art, I play rhythm games, I play like roguelikes. I really enjoy roguelikes, but that's about it. I'm here to have fun.
So, what kind of roguelikes do you play?
I love Binding of Isaac. It's
woo, woo.
Like my favorite.
Yeah, buddy. Hey,
yeah.
I'm big into the Binding of Isaac, man. I started when they first pretty much came out with it, when it was the old Flash style. I've got the gold box 4 souls. I think it's like the 80th created for the full souls stuff. And then I'm already in the Kickstarter going for the second round of 4 souls, getting the big box with the figurines and everything. Like, I am die-hard Binding of Isaac, and I've even got like a tarot card set from it and everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I actually read tarot, so that's super cool.
It's not. But yeah, I 100% of the game. I got Platinum God, so.
Nice. Wow, you're showing off, dude.
Yeah, I gotta go.
I'm really bad. I just enjoy it. Now, hear me out, though. I am able to competently go new game plus at least 3 times in Dark Souls.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
I gotta give you a big clap on that one. Vocal's in here. He just recently beat the game a little while ago. So.
Vocal's so good. I like just sitting there and like lurking in the stream all the time.
But anyway, the PNG tuber stuff. So I am very nowhere near that kind of sphere. I spent way too much money and time building a wall. The wall that's directly behind me, like the main event where the TV's at. I literally built that like from nothing. There was no wall there before.
That's awesome.
Painted it and everything just for this. So I couldn't do PNG tuber if I wanted to, you know what I mean? Because it's like a little bit too much money back behind me.
I guess the reason why PNG tuber is like my thing, you know, growing up, I never really had the self-confidence to kind of like make my own friends and stuff. And whenever I started, you know, playing games online or playing games in general, I noticed that I'd make friends with those specific interests. And whenever it got to the point of they don't know what I look like, I felt confident because I have a really bad self-image. And so I took up drawing, and then I saw like all these VTubers. Like, if you know any of them, there's like Iron Mouse and Yanners, and they're really, really funny. And they can be expressive, and they don't give up their privacy. So that's kind of why I did it. And I was like, and it's easy for me because I could just draw it, but I think it's super sweet and super cool to have the best of both worlds in that way.
Yeah, and I think that's super cool. I have watched this kind of grow, and I've had mixed feelings on it, honestly. But like you were just talking about, it gives people that little bit of confidence, and it's something that I've talked about on other Twitch podcasts that I've done. And it's that your art ultimately isn't for your viewers most of the time. Like, it's your theme, it's the way it looks, and you want it to look good, but it's mostly for the streamer because it's confidence. If you feel like your stuff looks good, you're going to show that confidence out there. Like if my like just before this, like you kind of jumped inside the call with me, I was in the middle of like trying to adjust it. Like I was super anal about this little line that's right here on my screen. Like I was just sitting there adjusting, and like the viewer doesn't care about that. But like for me, if I sat here and had that line there through this whole podcast, it would have just like bugged me, and I would have shown that I wasn't as confident because like I was sitting there thinking about an error. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
you know, it's a little bit of a give and take with art, and I fully understand what you're talking about on it, because you can have the best of both worlds and kind of show your theme and have that confidence by kind of having that kind of disconnect.
Yeah.
And I like that.
I don't know. I had tried streaming with like a webcam and everything before, and I felt so ungodly uncomfortable that this was just a really good compromise. And granted, I do think that there are a bunch of people that VTube just to be trendy, but I personally connect with it, and I feel very comfortable with this, and I don't feel comfortable any other way. And it's a lot better to have a something that people can interact with than just a screen. So
yeah, and there's a lot more flexibility with it, because just like in like anime and such, you could do a lot more with it, using more commands and really develop an entire, like, especially with the 3D tubers, you know, they're able to pull insane stuff that like just a human body couldn't do.
yeah.
So I think it's really cool. Go ahead.
I was just saying, I just finally finished the concept for my full body. So, and I think I showed it to you actually.
Yeah, you did.
I showed you the work in progress.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how it grows and develops from there, honestly. I think you got a really cool setup. And then I've noticed with you playing Valorant, you usually have like guests on your stream. Can you tell us a little bit about them?
Oh, okay. So I have a couple of friends that I actually met playing Valorant. And we all have matching names, so it's really funny. So we have Hawk, and then we have Bach, which are the main two. And then we have my friend Twisted. And then I have my friend Mia sometimes pop in. And anytime they join and talk, they have little animated sprites too that reflect how they look. And it's super cute. And then usually they'll have like different emotes for like when they're talking versus when they're not. So Hawk looks super angry when he's not talking, but whenever he talks, he's crying. And Bach has a really confused look whenever he's not talking, and then whenever he is talking, he's like angry with flames shooting out of his mouth.
Yeah, that's the one that I just saw. But like I think you were streaming earlier today. I was watching him, and every time he was talking, it was just like this fire coming out of his mouth, and I thought that was super cool.
Yeah. I think the only thing I didn't do art-wise on my stream is probably my panels, and I'm probably about to change that because I need to redo them.
See, I wish I could say that. I wish I had any level of artistic ability, and maybe when I have enough time and I'm kind of caught up, I can sit down and work with one, because I bought like 4 years ago a I think it's a 27-inch or 32-inch Canvas Pro 21 or something like that. Like it was like $900, and I bought it, and then I used it as a second monitor for I don't know how long, and I never got around to actually learning art. And I just this month bought Clip Studio Paint. So.
Oh, I love Clip Studio.
Oh gosh. But I do art that's not really digital art or like drawing, so to speak. I do paint. I paint a lot of Warhammer miniatures, Dungeons and Dragons miniatures. And
I do Warhammer
actually,
too, yeah.
I'm pretty good at it. Not to toot my own horn. I'm pretty proud of the stuff that I've made. One of these days I'll do like a show and tell video or something for YouTube and show them. But I'm really proud of my Warhammer figurines for the most part.
Yeah, I like Warhammer. I like painting miniatures.
You're into everything I'm into. You're Dark Souls, Binding of Isaac, Warhammer, and not many people are into Warhammer. Warhammer is a very niche hobby.
I only know the I'm probably gonna butcher their name because I'm gonna start over, but I have Jakari. Yeah.
Drukhari,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Okay. And
Space elves.
I have like 3 or 4 boxes. like I have the start collecting box, and then I have like 2 or 3 extra boxes with like more of their vehicles and more little minis.
Man,
I still have to build.
They were top of the meta for a good minute. Like, Drukhari was killing it on the competitive scene for a good while.
Yeah, I just recently got into it, like a year or so ago. I got to play a few times, but I haven't finished my army yet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fun though. I have gotten a few commissions to paint armies though, and it's gone really well.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I'd love to see some of them sometime. I got into it partly because of a friend, but partly because of my work. So I was working railroad, and railroad is the job I was doing had extreme amounts of stress. I mean, any delays like of 10 or 15 minutes was tens of thousands of dollars for the company lost. So I was under like a ton of stress, and then like working 40 hours in less than 52-hour periods or 56-hour periods. So I was overworked and quite tired and had a lot of stress on me. So I had to find an outlet, and video games wasn't doing it for me because I never could progress, because I never had enough time to really progress into a game that I wanted. Like, Kingdom Hearts 3 had came out, and I played maybe 30 minutes of it, and Kingdom Hearts is some of my favorite games out there, period. And I still don't feel like I have ever gotten to sit down and play Kingdom Hearts because of the railroad. So I got into Warhammer because I could take just a box of dudes, 10 dudes, sit down, build them, go to work, come back home, primer them, do the first layer, go to bed, go back to work. And I would just do this kind of routine of painting 10 guys at a time. And when I got done with those 10 guys at the time, I'd go and buy me another box or buy me another vehicle or whatever. And over the course of 5 years, I got about 5 armies.
Nice.
But it was the only way for me to like de-stress and get away from what I was doing. Because I don't know if I could have handled that job if I didn't have something to kind of like vent through.
That's kind of like what I do. Like, I only work on weekends, but I'll go to work, and then I try to play a game, but by the time I get home, it's too late.
Yeah.
So I usually just like draw or something.
Yeah. So you get what I'm talking about on it.
Yeah. It's like a routine on the weekends for me though.
Yeah. But I still found time to stream, still found time to make videos and stuff, because that was the dream, you know. So
I am absolutely struggling with anything besides streaming. Like, streaming's fine. I could wake up and stream and do all that jazz. And but like TikTok, oh my gosh, TikTok is difficult. And like, I can edit, but I always feel like my videos aren't good enough, so I never post them on like YouTube or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I have a Twitter. I'm active on Twitter. We don't talk about Twitter though.
Yeah, we don't talk about Twitter. You don't have a Twitter.
I don't have a Twitter. I am on it, but I don't have posts. Yeah. It's my ghost account.
Ghost account. Oh god.
But you know, I'm on these things. Like, I'm on Instagram and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's kind of pointless. Like, it's kind of pointless to be on Instagram if nobody like knows what you're supposed to look like.
Well,
but
I don't really.
I mean, I post my art on it, and I post that I stream and stuff.
When it comes to social media and me, I'm very low into what I'm supposed to do, because I first started on MySpace, and that was like the holy grail for me. Yeah. Like, MySpace was awesome because I could put my entire personality on the page. Yeah.
You could put music. You could decorate it. I loved MySpace.
Oh yeah. I had metal music. I had it all decked out in like goth, corn, band tees and stuff like that. And then everybody migrated to Facebook, and I did not understand Facebook because it was just like this blank, boring,
so plain
plays. And then I really didn't understand Twitter. And so I'm kind of lagged behind the curve of social media, because I've never gotten an Instagram. I've never even been on Instagram, so I have no idea what it is.
You're gonna laugh at me. When Instagram first became a thing, there was a really big like anime community on it, and there still is. But a big thing was I guess role playing as your anime character or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what got me into it. I was such a nerd. I promise I didn't write any fanfics, but I did do this. I did have an Instagram with over 4,000 followers of an anime character, okay?
Dang. Not bad. Hey, there is nothing wrong with that. I don't find that weird at all.
I deleted it 2 or 3 years after that because I was like, this is kind of dumb.
I'm pretty sure
it was fun when you're lonely.
Yeah, and I think pretty much the majority of at least my generation or somewhere around my generation has at least done one role play at some point, whether it be not the most PG topicked role play,
right,
but they've done some sort of role play at some point.
Dude, yeah, we've had to.
Because
it's how we survive.
It's how we survive. I like that. Because it's like
you either wrote a fanfic on Wattpad or you roleplayed. There's no in between.
Or Gaia Online topic.
Oh my god, I didn't touch Gaia Online. Gaia Online was like Reddit before it was cool.
My Gaia Online buddy friends.
God, I always got upset because it was you had to spend money to make your character look good, and that's all I wanted to do.
Bruh.
I played Toontown though. Toontown.
Hey, that's actually something planned for my channel because
I
love
Toontown.
Yes. I literally have Toontown rewritten already downloaded on my computer, and I've just been
oh my
sitting
god,
and waiting.
No joke. Hit me up. I will join you. I have the wedding cake already unlocked for throw gags.
Dang. See, I have to restart completely. I have nothing.
I'll do that too. I don't care. I love Toontown. I love it.
I would love to do a duo on Toontown. That would be awesome.
Yes.
Because the original concept behind my channel was playing all of my video games, because I'm one of the few people that I have about 90% of the games that I've ever owned. I've lost a few over time. I've sold a few, obviously, that kind of deal. But I have some memory issues in that my long term is really bad. My short term is great. I have a great short term memory. But I guess you could put it as what an elderly person would kind of go through of forgetting some of their childhood and stuff. But I have it almost, at 28. So I've got to kind of deal with that. And the way that I've explained it to people is if I have a little figurine or stuffed animal or some sort of trinket, then I can talk about it. If I don't, then I usually will end up forgetting it. So for most of my favorite animes and stuff, I got them on the shelf back here behind me. I have a little trinket to remind myself what that anime was. And I've been called out 100 times in a conversation where people are like, have you ever seen this? And I'm like, yeah, I've seen that. But then I can't recall any of it, so they think that I'm lying, and I'm not I'm making up that. I recognize where they're coming from, because they're used to normal people kind of being like, yeah, I've heard of that, sure. But really I have, and I just, my brain don't work that way.
Yeah, mine, I have really bad short-term memory loss. I think it might be genetic because my mom sucks at it too, but mine's bad. I could grab a water, drink the water, set it down right in front of me, and then I'll look at you and I'll be like, did I just get a water? Where is it? Yes. I don't remember it. And then maybe an hour later I'll be like, oh yeah. I don't know if it's me just being dumb or if it's an actual issue. Because I do it all the time. All the time.
Oh yeah.
I could be eating a slice of pizza and I'll set it down. And if I don't eat all the pizza in one sitting, I'll forget that I ever ate.
And see, I don't know what that part is because my short term's really good. If it's about within the last 6 months to a year, I'm crystal. Like, I don't have any problems remembering things, but when it comes to a year to 3 years or more than that, it slips from me. If I don't have a picture or something, I'm probably not going to remember it. And that's a struggle with some of my longer term friends, but they've understood it after a certain point. They're like, yeah, he doesn't remember that.
Yeah. Well, mine's funny though, because like I played a game yesterday and me and my friends were talking about it. And I was like, no, I was going here to do this, and then this person was there, and then I was doing this because of this, and like explaining it all in detail what was happening, even though that it had happened a day prior. We weren't in that game anymore. And then they asked me if I did something like 5 seconds ago in the current game. I said, I don't fucking know. I don't. I'm just confused the entire time. But whenever you ask me like what happened on December 14th, like 2003, like I'm able to tell you.
At 2:21 p.m. and 37 seconds.
Exactly. Like
I dig it.
Yeah. It's kind of sad. Yeah.
And see, I think my nephew is a little bit like that because I've went through Dark Souls with him, and he would go and he would do something, and I would have told him what to do, so to speak. He would go and do it, and he would do it accurately to what I just told him. But then, like, just a 30-second to minute period later, I'd ask him, so what did you think of that? And he's like, I don't know, what did I do?
Yeah, I'm like that. It's sad.
So, I had a lot of fun with that.
It was fun to watch. Darks, it was really fun. You got so frustrated, though. I felt so bad.
One of the other things on that, and I tried to mention it every now and then throughout the series, because there were some people that was like, man, I would hate to have somebody sitting there talking like that all the time. And I'm like, well, he wanted that. Like, in the very, very, very first episode, he literally just tells me, like, hey, like, just tell me what I need to do and let's go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He wanted me to critique him because that's how he learns. He's one of them people that learn by you going, hey, do this. This is how you do it. And then he goes and does it. And that's how he learns. And he just repeats that method over and over. So it was me constantly trying to help him build his learning method, so to speak. And that's just what he wanted. So that's what I did. And it worked out. I mean, he got all the way up to Artorias. He got stuck on Artorias, but it's okay. There's some people that it happens to.
Still count.
Oh, yeah. Definitely counts.
I'm very, like when it comes to, like, games like Dark Souls, I want somebody, like, with me to, like, sit next to me or, like, watch me play or something so we could talk about it.
Yeah.
But if it's, like, a game like Valorant specifically, everybody screams in Valorant. They're like, communication, you have to talk to your team, you have to make call outs. And the only thing I can think is, I can't do anything with you two yelling in my ear. So I have to mute everybody all the time. And they're like, why aren't you talking? And I'm like, number one, if I were to talk, I'm a female, and that would not go well. Number two, you're screaming that they're like down, or they're in nest, like a nest, and they're not in a nest. Like,
he's over there.
Yeah, no, that's all the time. All the time he's like, he's right there.
He's right
there.
there.
Where is right there?
Shoot him.
Where is that? Or they'll say something like, I hit them for 120, they're one shot. And I shoot them once, and sure enough, they're still freaking alive. You know, they're alive, they're doing stuff. They're telling me about their day as they're shooting me in the dome. My own teammates betray me. It's a daily thing.
We were talking about it before the stream here, and I've talked about it with, I think, Nance's stream and everything, but I got away from League of Legends, Dota 2, the MOBA stuff, because, like, I felt like it was making me toxic. And one of his, like, first memories of me is always being optimistic every match. No matter how far down the match we were, I was always saying, like, we can still do it. It doesn't matter if we're 0-24, we can still win. And for League of Legends, that's pretty kind of accurate. Like, there's some people that can turn around a match from, like, almost the depths of hell and win. It's just based on the team and the composition and everything. But I never really was too big, like, into them as far as like streaming them and stuff goes, because I get too focused and I can't really make a good stream out of like highly competitive games and whatnot. But maybe one day I'll do them after I get through my retro stuff.
I think the funniest thing with me is I'm really bad. Like if it's League, I do my best to read chat, and if it's Valorant, I do my best to read chat, but I'll miss it by like a few seconds. But the reason why I got a decent audience, like streaming League specifically, and only League for the longest time, was because I'm not like talking to anybody except for myself about what's going on in the game. And I may be exposing myself here, and people think I'm talking to them. But in actuality, I'm just talking to myself.
See, now that's what's funny. So that's what I did when I was first like starting out on YouTube. Like I just talked about the game. Because one of the biggest tips that I give to people for content creation is don't worry about who's viewing you or how many people's looking at you. People are here to watch you. Those are the people that matter. And always stream as if there's zero. Like stream like you're recording to YouTube, where you're trying to tell a future audience what you're doing, what you're trying to do, you know, going through the game like, oh, this looks really cool, like this is the method that I'm trying to go for, you know, explaining what you're doing. And that opens up a content creator's like vocal cords. It lets them kind of get used to talking while being in front of the camera.
Right.
And then it becomes more about your chat and who's there and, you know, catering to the people that care about you, like Sir Baldus and Hecka Guy and Focal and everybody in my chat right now. And I love every one of you.
Yeah, when I first started streaming, I only streamed art. And this is the part of the story that nobody tells you. It's the origins, baby.
Yeah.
But I streamed art and I was doing pretty well. I got like 75 viewers at one point for art, and I stopped for a while. Nice. But when I started again, and I was streaming art again, I was like, maybe I could use a face cam this time. And I did. And granted, I'm not like, I think I'm a pretty average looking person, like, and I'm not like crazy beautiful or crazy like ugly. Like, I'm not anything, you know, I'm just me. And I'm not like super big or super small. Well, I mean, height wise, I'm super small, but that's about it. And so this guy joined my chat, and I had a bunch of other nice people in chat, but there's this guy that kept making accounts, and they were named like the worst things, like Weight Watchers and stuff like that. And he'd like spam me with follows. Granted, I got follows and stuff for it, so that was pretty, you know, I mean, joke's on you. But and he was just saying the rudest things, and my poor mods, they couldn't keep up.
Yeah. There's some trolls on Twitch, man. Like, there's some trolls everywhere.
It really like cemented in me that I didn't want to use Facecam, because on a platform that's supposed to be about the game and making friends, it became so quickly about, you don't look like a typical like e-girl, so I'm gonna troll you.
And you know, it's funny because like you get the communities that kind of form, you always have these kind of outliers. The majority of the people that you're going to meet on the internet are pretty decent people that are cool. It's just based on where you're at, and it's like a pie chart. You know, if you go to Modern Warfare 2 voice lobbies, you're going to get a whole different breed of people. If you go to, you know, just like the Brimthen's Discord and
yeah, so it is very different.
But for me, I try to go wholesome and try to keep as many people like, you know, I like to share the big love and everything, that kind of deal. I'm not a great looking guy. I recognize I'm not a great looking guy. But like, I just kind of don't even think about that kind of stuff. I never have through my entire life. I throw on a Hawaiian shirt and I just go rock it. Like
I dig it.
I go to Dollywood with a bucket hat, a Hawaiian shirt, and like flip-flops, and I look like the most tourist person on the planet.
Wait. How often do you go to Dollywood?
Quite often, actually. You know, I
Really?
only live about an hour away.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny because me and my fiance were talking about going there. Because
It's awesome.
he's gone and I really want to go. And my younger brother used to live in Tennessee, so but you know, we moved, so we don't know what we're doing for our vacation.
I couldn't imagine moving from the Smoky Mountains at this point. I've lived in Georgia, I've lived in Kentucky, and I genuinely have to say Tennessee is like the perfect climate, or at least Eastern Tennessee. Because we don't get the hurricanes of the South, we don't get the blizzards of the North, we don't get crazy rains and tornadoes or anything like that of the West. And then we're kind of in this little bucket in the Smoky Mountains. And like all of the storms are on the other side of the mountain where it's nowhere near us. We get all 4 seasons and they're tolerable. You know, our summers don't usually get over 90. Sometimes it's 95, but mostly 90. Our winters don't go down below the 20s or 10s. And it is a perfect place to live, if you ask me. Rent's cheap, wages are high, taxes are low. There's like no downside to Eastern Tennessee, in my opinion.
I grew up in, and I may be doxing myself here, but I don't care. I grew up in South Louisiana and South Mississippi, and that's where my family's from. And it's fun. There's a lot of stuff to do, but specifically in like Mississippi, it's super, like, it's not super expensive, but you don't make enough, so it feels super expensive, you know? And it is hot. That is the only weather we have.
That's the truth.
Hot. And
that is the truth.
Like, whenever I moved to Missouri, which is where we are now, I was very excited because, like, I'd always heard, like, oh, you know, snow is here. I've never seen snow. I mean, if I'm being honest, the winters in Mississippi never really get below 40.
Yeah.
So, and 40 is like freezing, like it's crazy. Everybody's losing their mind.
Yes.
But I've never seen snow. I've seen it fall, but not land, kind of thing.
Yep.
And so now we're here, and I was like super excited. I was like, the summers don't get super hot here. It's not super humid because where I am, like 80% humidity is average.
Yeah.
And so got here, and sure enough, Mississippi weather followed us. And last week we had like a crazy heat advisory where it was like 112 with humidity. And I was like, it feels like home. And the day we got to Missouri, everybody's like, it's so hot. Like, and it was like 85. I'm like, it feels good.
Man, so I was living in Atlanta, Georgia, and like if you took, and I don't care to dox this because it's just an old apartment building, but I'm not even joking. I even tested it. If you take a thumbtack and you look at Atlanta and you put it dead center of Atlanta, like right where the T kind of meets at the middle, dead center Atlanta, you will hit exactly my apartment or the Fox Theater, which was like right next door to me. So, when I tell you I understand never getting snow and like 40 scaring people, I'm telling you that city shut down with just the sleet. Like, I had to shake a bush and get all of that to get half a snowball.
Yeah.
And there was not hardly anything, not even hardly any ice either. But because they were so scared of what they call Snowmageddon, that locks down everything. Traffic backs up. There's wrecks all over the place. Nobody can make it into work. Everybody calls off. It is insanity.
Yeah, I as someone from the South can say with confidence, people from the South do not know how to drive in anything below like 50.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if it's 50, you're like pushing your luck. Like one time my own job like canceled the day that I was supposed to go in for my first day of training because it was like 40 out and it started raining and they were scared.
Yeah.
So they canceled work.
And see, we can't cancel work over at the railroad because that just shuts down the entire economy and bankrupts everybody. But
right.
It's funny because like I was saying, that Tennessee is perfect. We get like 2 snows a year, maybe 3, and usually it's 1.5 inches, sometimes 2 inches, rarely more than 1.5 inches. So you got more than enough to have a snowball fight and like have fun in the snow type deal, like, without it being unbearable. So I love it. Eastern Tennessee is the best place to be. I don't care, and I've been all over the country and I have not found anywhere better. So, but yeah,
Vocal's out here trying to make me cry today.
Oh,
it is the cutest thing. So I was messaging Focal like a day or so ago. I was congratulating him on his debut and letting him know that I think his model is very cute and I love the dynamic, and we were talking about all that stuff. And he had said it in chat just like a few minutes ago about how I was like the first VTuber that he's like met and all that jazz, and like it made me cry. I didn't think that like me putting on like a stupid drawing and making its mouth move whenever I talk would like make people want to do it too.
Oh yeah. And it's kind of funny, and this is a little jab at Focal here. He thought for the longest time he was going to be the first person on the podcast that would be a VTuber or a PNG tuber, and I thought he was too, because when we were talking about putting you on the podcast here, I didn't know you did PNG tubers. Either I like blindsided like and not saw it on your streams, because I've watched several of your streams, but I've just not noticed it, or I wasn't thinking about it, or something. And then I realized like, wait, she's a PNG tuber. Like I'm gonna have to like set up PNG tubing for her, because me and Focal just like last week was talking about, yeah, I'll teach you how to do the PNG tuber stuff. So I already got it ready, so everything's fine.
Yeah.
She got it first, gosh darn it. He said.
I'm sorry.
I just think it's funny. But no, I think it's pretty cool. Just not something for me.
I think the best part about it is, and this may be like a little like, I don't mean it to be a jab, but since I draw my own model and stuff like that, you can see the evolution of the model every time I draw it, and it's super fun.
I think that's a really cool thing too.
Yeah. Like I had half of mine because I actually did complete the full body model the other day, and I was like, oh, should I send it to him? Nah, I'm not gonna make him change it. I'm not gonna do it. I feel like this one's like more appropriate for the topic too. It's very cute.
There you go. So yeah, we can break it down even more, like Sir Baldus is saying. You know, you're the first cat girl I've had on the podcast, and he's gonna be the first angel demon that I had.
Yeah, I'm the first cat girl.
Oh man. I was making jokes a long while ago when it was first like hyping up PNG tubers and stuff like that. I was saying, well, I'm a PNG tuber, like I'm a VTuber. I've been a VTuber this whole time. I'm just a fancy AI that like is making people think I'm real. I'm a really high quality 3D model, but really I'm just a whole other looking person. You know, I've got like a voice changer and everything. Like, I'm actually a 12-year-old girl or something. Like, you know, I'm just sitting here, like, pretending to be a 28-year-old man in a Hawaiian shirt on the internet. That's what I am.
Dude, so when you do get trolls as a VTuber, it's one of two things. Specifically as a female VTuber, because I can't speak on the male perspective of it. But I'm sure male VTubers get a lot worse. Because, I don't know, something about that. Mm-hmm. You know? And so one of the few things that I get literally all the time is, that's a guy. It's gotta be. And I'm like, yeah, bro. I'm a man.
Clearly. I mean, it's obviously a voice effect. I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and get it. She had me set up this whole entire filter chain that I don't know anything about. She had this like code. It was like this long of code before I could have her on the podcast.
I had to sign a contract. Yeah, there are so many like super cute male VTubers, and I don't see any trolls in their chat, but in my chat ever so often will be like, so you're just a man with a voice changer and a picture, huh? Like, if I had to put that much effort into hiding that I was a guy.
Yeah, nah. I got just the tiniest little glimpse of what I think was you and your fiance, because like you had sent a picture to me.
Yeah.
And then
well, I'm not super like private about it. Like I'll send like I view you as a friend, so you're a friend, so it doesn't really matter. But I don't want the entire internet knowing what I look like at all times. Yeah,
but see, I have the new Nozomi face reveal. You know, Dream SMP style. Like I've seen behind the PNG.
I look pretty punk rock. I'm not gonna lie. I do. I look almost nothing like my model.
There's nothing wrong with that. I don't look anything like my model either.
Yeah, you're like an 8-year-old.
The age just keeps getting lower. I'm just this little toddler baby sitting in front of a mic like, hey, I've got the biggest brain.
It's just Pinky in the brain.
Yeah. It's just Pinky in the brain. I'm not even a human. I'm 2 lab rats. Like, you got Pinky over here slapping a stream deck trying to get everything working right.
Trying to figure everything out. And then you have brain going, God dang it, Pinky. But yeah, no, I'm not super proud. I'm not crazy. Like if I were put into the position of I got like an actual rigged model and everything, and people found out who I was or what I looked like, it wouldn't be the end of the world to me. It would happen. It happens, you know?
Oh yeah, no, I understand.
But if I have like really close friends, like my friend Mia, or like a bunch of people that I knew before I even started streaming, then I mean, you know, if they want to see a picture of me and Garrett, then I'll send them a picture of me and Garrett. It's no big deal.
Yeah, I can understand that. And I had a little bit of a laugh spell right there while you were talking, because Sir Baldus is over here asking if that makes him a simp.
Oh yeah, SIMP squirrels in my pants.
Squirrels in my pants. I've never heard that.
It's never heard Phineas that. And Ferb. SIMP squirrels in my pants.
Yeah, that is funny.
Yeah. Well, that's how I get around the Twitch rules. Because if you have a big enough stream now and you say it, then it's a form of bullying.
Oh, is that the word that I just said? Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know
that.
But
if you say SIMP squirrels in my pants, or you say like shrimp, then it's fine.
I didn't know that. That is news to me.
Smaller streamers don't get flagged for it, but bigger streamers do.
I guess it would be a data check where, you know, that because every of these programs have the DMCA stuff that like check to see what words are being said. So it's like it's like, you know, subtitling us in the background, and if it picks up certain words or whatever. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I did not know anything about that.
I think a lot of it depends on context. Like if I were to scream like you're a, you know, squirrel in my pants, then
I can't get over that.
Then I'm sure it would flag it. And there are other words that are flagged that I don't use, but I use like placeholders.
Yeah.
So I say like roach or something like that. Like roach is a big one in my stream. If you pop in there, 95% of the time, if somebody does something really dumb and it's not me, one of my mods will say that they're a roach.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But Sir Baldus, just so that you know, you're not the first one. I actually already have had one other. So, kudos on me, you know?
I have a few. It's okay. It's not a bad thing.
I think that just kind of comes with the job on your end.
Yeah, it kind of does. Like, a VTuber, whatever. A female streamer, absolutely. But there's this one guy. I was streaming, and I think I was streaming League. And he joined, and I had quite the viewers to stream. I think I like 15 or something like that. It was a little kind of weird because it was like, there's a lot of people. For what reason? And because like I'm suspicious, you know, I'm like, So there's this guy and he messaged me this long poem and I read it and I was like, that's super cool. And then I made a joke or something and he's like, "Milady, I have to ask you on a date so I can retrieve the heart that you've stolen from me," and all this stuff. And I was giggling and I was laughing, but I didn't want to be rude. I was like, that's pretty interesting, though. And so then he donated $1 and was like, "I wish I could give you more, my queen." And I died, dude. I literally, I hyperventilated. Like, if I... Just thinking about it cracks me up. And he's never been back to my stream.
Oh my god.
But it was just the funniest, like, nicest but weirdest thing that I've ever seen in my life.
So that ain't even how I even go about it. Like, if I am interested, the first thing I go for, hey, let me suck them toes.
Exactly. That's normal. That's a normal introduction, you know? I join a stream, I scout it out for a few minutes, and then I say something trolly. Like, that's the process. Trust the process.
I know, right? And you know, that's just how it is on the internet, man. You got so many different like groups of people and how to go about things. And you know, it comes with kind of the territory, you know. You really don't know who's going to end up coming into your chat and what they're going to do. I've already had about 3 or 4 different like trolls. Most of them are underage kids that don't know any better and they lack a little bit of maturity and whatnot. And you know, each of those kind of experiences does develop a person as a streamer because it lets you kind of gauge what you're doing, you know, how to kind of conduct yourself. Because you know, you kind of skirt the line of like the Twitch rules, the YouTube rules, the TikTok rules, and then also at the same time you kind of want to be yourself and like play inside that kind of gray area.
With like bans in my stream don't come easy, is the best way I can say it. You have to be like quite obviously like and just rude, like harassment, like sexism, racism, all that. Like that's an insta ban. Like no ban appeal, like you're banned. And then if it's like constantly like backseating, it's not even a ban. Like I'll time you out, but if you keep doing it, then it's a ban. And then and that I'm pretty lenient on because some people are like, "Oh, did you know this?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's fine." But if they're like screaming like, "You should do this, you should do this," then it's different.
Yeah.
But you know, normally like there's a warning there. It's like, "Hey, I don't really appreciate the backseating," kind of thing. And then another thing is, God, what is it? My mind's blank right now. I was just talking about it. Oh, I have the worst, like, I don't even know what to call it, but every time anybody new or anybody at all joins my stream, 100% of the time they will ask me this question. Do you want a duo? Or do you want to play with me? And I'm like, I don't even know you. Like, no offense. Like, I'll duo with, like, people on certain days, or I'll set up, like, games where everybody in the chat can join and we'll rotate people out. But you can't just, like, and it's a big thing in League specifically. You can't just join a stream and be like, hey, let me play. You can't.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't really understand that.
and then they'll get offended if I like invite somebody else to play. I'm like, you can't do that. Like, you can't. I'm sorry.
Like, you haven't even joined my Discord, let alone like talk to me before this one moment. Like,
yeah. Like half the listen, and the Discord's a big one because half the people that like follow my stream don't even know I have a Discord, and it's right there in the description, bro.
Oh yeah.
It pops up in chat. But you know, it's just funny.
Yeah, I understand that. I try to do like, you know, we had an Among Us stream a long while ago. I've done a lot with like Mr. Dumpling, so to speak, because we did like Vermintide 2 and, you know, then there's the KFX SMP stuff, which you've done amazing on, by the way. Like,
Thank you.
You knocked it out of the park. The library / like enchantress kind of little wizard hat almost on the top of the building was awesome. I always, like, every time we did like an update video, I always went over there and was like, and this is the zombies.
Yeah, at the moment I'm trying to figure out if I want to do well, I know I'm working on a tower that's like right above the hill in the cave entrance to my area, and that's going to be like the enchanting area. And then I have an idea that I want to do a little bit more to the side.
Yeah.
I want to make like my house, but I want to make like an actual kind of like mini castle kind of vibe.
Yeah. I get that.
But I have to decide on where I want to put it and how I want it done.
Sir Baldus has made like an entire like stronghold keep on the left side of like Town Hall. Just took that whole area and just made this awesome like stronghold keep thing.
I love the princess towers. Like, that's what I love making. They're so fun to make. They're so like flexible, and I just don't know what I want to do because I want to build more princess towers.
Hey, I understand it. Every one of my builds are super weird because like I don't really like plan what my build's gonna be. I like lay down like a foundation and then I just build from it, and like that's how my house has been made on there. And it's became like with Vocal's awesome idea of putting 2 trees, and now it's like 2 trees and like roots growing throughout the building and stuff, and I just turned it into it. I even added an aquarium inside. I don't think anybody's seen yet, but
that's cool.
Yeah. I'm slightly taking a step back from KFX, sadly. I haven't really announced it just yet, but it's a lot of work to try to advertise it. I kind of started the project a little too soon. Like, I should have waited until I had a little bit bigger of a following, because what KFX really needs right now is an influx of really motivated people that are wanting to create content around it. And you know, right now we're kind of in that kind of wishy-wash stage of sometimes we have people playing, sometimes we don't. There's not really enough people to be like let's take, for example, if you had a massive idea where you wanted to build like your own kingdom and design your own project. The original concept behind KFX was, you know, we're all in this role play kind of environment. We had to have enemies and that kind of thing, but everybody's working together to tell a story. So somebody like might be your enemy in the story, but like they would come over and help you build, so to speak. And we would have like an ample number of people that could like sit down and build together. And that sort of worked early on, but through a little bit of my own negligence of trying to manage other life things like losing my job and having to build all of this behind me, I kind of got slipped away from me. So I need to kind of just like take a step back, reassess it, and then when I can really chomp at the bit and really have what I'm looking for, then we can kind of relaunch again in later time, because there's a lot of behind the scenes that I have to do to keep everything kind of up and up. And I don't know, I just don't really feel motivated to put more effort into it to try to find people just yet. I'm gonna try to grow myself first and then look for people.
That's the best thing, I think, personally, because I know whenever I joined, I was invited by some other streamers, and then I talked to you about it, And from my knowledge, I think I'm like one of the only people that stayed. Like, I was like one of the only people that stayed on the server and constantly was like, yeah, okay, let's do this, let's do that.
See, I wasn't even sure like what group you came in with, so I don't even know, because what happened on the very early set, we had about 30 streamers that was ready to go day one.
Yeah.
And about 22 of them was there for day one. And then day two, only about maybe 17 or 16 was there. And then about a month went by and we were down to about 10 streamers. And that's where we were really strong with those 10. But
yeah.
I got to a point with, you know, some people had different opinions, and obviously there were some clashes and that kind of thing that happened. But there was about 15 people at the very bare minimum that had joined on day one and then just straight up didn't touch it anymore. Because I guess they didn't have enough guidance, or they didn't like know what really to do. But I tried to lay it out as best I could in the videos of like, you know, what is KFX, you know, how to roleplay, what do you want them to do, that kind of thing.
I think it's really neat because every other like Minecraft thing that I've ever done has been like factions, and I mean those are okay, but like if you've ever been on a Minecraft faction server, there's like drama for no reason.
Yeah.
And so I found this, I was really excited because it was like something that everybody was on like the same step. Like everybody's building their houses, everybody's doing this, and we're all kind of doing it together, and it's all like cohesive and everybody's helping each other, and it's nice. And when people stop joining, or people like basically do one thing and then leave, it's kind of holds everybody else back in a way.
Well, the best example of not everybody was really on the same page type deal. We had one guy that went way far north, up into like the probably 2,000 block range, and started a small base. It was the Mongolians. Their concept of roleplay was anybody's allowed to do anything, sort of, and they didn't have to explain it. They were Mongolians, and their goal was to be raiding parties. So how they raided was they came back down to KFX, opened up someone's front door, foxtrots, and just in chat went, "We're the Mongolians, we're here to raid you," and killed him, took his stuff, and then ran back up their place. And this is roleplay. This isn't like a combat server, or we're trying to tell a story. Like, and they weren't filming, they weren't doing streaming, they weren't doing any of that. So, you know, I have to have a talk to them. They didn't agree with me and my version of what I was telling. I was like, look, it's D&D. Like, we're all players trying to do a story.
That's like, that's like the rogue that's always in your party. That's like, I'm just bad. My parents are dead. Like,
murder hobos at the end of the day.
Yeah, and they like try and like fight or like steal something from the rest of the party. And there's that chaotic neutral bard or chaotic evil bard that nobody knows is chaotic evil that convinces the town guard to, you know, stone him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm the bard.
So, you know, that's kind of my goal. I want to go into more Dungeons and Dragons stuff, start going towards my hobby route, because I want to teach people Magic the Gathering. I want to teach people how to do 40K. I want to teach people how to do Age of Sigmar. You know, Dungeons and Dragons, show my own version of Dungeons and Dragons, which I'm currently in the process of making.
I actually, speaking about that, I want to talk about it more, because the only thing that you said that I don't play is Age of Sigmar. And I've actually been trying to do a campaign. And I normally host it on Discord. I have an entire group of people that host things on Discord for D&D. And unfortunately, we use Roll20, but it's fun. And I don't know, it's just fun to talk to other people about it, because like it's gonna be my first time DMing, but I'm a really good storyteller. If you want any tips, feel free to hit me up, because I can talk your ear off
Like I said, I'm about a 10-year-old dungeon master. I've ran several campaigns that were a year long or more. I had one that was, I think, 2 years, or if it wasn't, it was like a year and a half, and meeting, twice a month type deals. I have ran one adventurer league at a game store campaign, which was only maybe about 6 months or so, but it was one of those shorter campaigns that they run. But I've done tons of stuff with Dungeons and Dragons. Like, a buddy of mine on Facebook actually just posted, like, look at my D&D collection, and it was like a box, maybe 100 dice. He probably had like 10 sets of full sets of dice or whatever. And I'm just sitting there like, if I tried taking a picture of mine, it wouldn't fit in the camera.
Yeah, I'm a dice goblin. I love dice. They're so cool.
But I got everything. I even have a, you know what? This is a good time for show and tell. Let me go grab it and I'll just show it off real quick. I can't hear you, but I'm going to let you talk for a second. Be right back.
Okay. Hi, chat. What's going on? Hi, Focal. Focal, you could be a part of my D&D group. I mean, it's going to take a while to get set up because I was doing all the art for it. I'm doing okay.
All right.
Nope.
So pretty much everybody that's like big into Dungeons and Dragons has heard of Dogmite Games. They made, Critical Role's wooden Dungeon Master screen and all that stuff. And I have been a patron of Dogmite Games for a very, very, very long time. He used to make old deck boxes for me and everything before he got super popular. And I got, on a discount, a custom-made wooden DM screen, which is a sunburst.
So nice.
And it is, the front panel is a skull, and it's made to look like carrion or like bones with still meat on them and everything. So here's the skull and crossbones, and then the two sides are like rib cages and bones themselves. And I'll take just a half second to jump over to Big Me just to show it. Get a better look at it real quick here, just to show everybody.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
That's so awesome.
And I have had that, God, I think 3 years now, maybe 4.
Wow.
And I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So I'm pretty big into D&D.
I've only played casually. I had one group that I was a part of for a while, but it was filled with a bunch of drama. But my friend was the DM, and it was really fun. And the campaign went on, but in season. So altogether, it was going on for like 2 years or so.
Yeah.
And it was really, really fun. But the people that were playing it were not. So I dropped from that group. Like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
And
then
Go ahead.
There's another game that's very D&D like, but it's futuristic, and everybody's like, it's like Zootopia. No, but it's like Zootopia, but it's the future. So everybody's like an animal, but they're like personified, I guess. So like they have fingers and toes, I guess, but they're anthropomorphic. That's the word. So they're super fun, but it's called HSD, and it's super futuristic. Like, have you ever played Starbound?
I have played Starbound, yes.
Okay, so it's like Starbound, except every single world that you bounce to is civilized, and there's companies that run everything, and there could be a lot of, it's like an organized crime kind of thing. At least the one campaign I played was like low-key like organized crime. And so you had to like either work for these companies or like be rogues, and like you could be like a hacker or a doctor, a bunch of cool stuff.
Huh.
And it's really fun.
I'm Googling it right now.
HSD, yeah.
HCSVNT Dracones. And let me tell you, this art is really dope. The first thing I see is this xenomorph alien thing that is like super freaking cool.
Yeah, it's super fun. I don't think it has many players right now. I think it's like early years kind of thing.
It reminds me a little bit of Shadowrun. Shadowrun is one of those that are super niche that a lot of people ain't heard of. I don't know if you have or not.
I think I may have heard of it, but I think that's all. Like, I've heard of it.
Yeah, Shadowrun's in the future as well, but it's got more of the contemporary elf, dwarf, that kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and then you've got like hackers and stuff. Like, it's a lot of augmentations.
Yeah.
Like a good portion of the
It's
character
pretty much
building.
It's pretty much that, but with Anthros. Like, that's what HSD so like every time you make a character in HSD, you pick like what you're gonna be, you assign like your certain skills to that, and then you have to pick like I guess like some sort of like thing. I don't know. Like mine was I was a twin-tailed fox, so I had 2 tails and they gave me different stat abilities. But they also gave me one thing that like that was hard for me to do, or something like that. And then you could get like augmentations where you can upgrade your eyes or your legs or stuff like that.
So my first D&D character was anti-magic, because like a lot of D&D campaigns are big into magic and stuff. I usually make a character that goes against slightly of the grain. So with Shadowrun, where there was so much like cyber enhancements and like mechanical stuff, like you could change out your eyeball, you could change out your teeth and stuff like that, and have different rules behind it. And I decided to go with a Dragonborn, just like I would go with anything else, half dragon dude. And I took this 50s greaser black and white picture like next to a jukebox, and I took a black and white photo of a half dragon, and I just swapped the head out. So it was like the head of a half dragon and the body of a human, basically. And I just said, this is my guy. He has no augmentations. All of my augment points are going into my pocket. I'm keeping the cash. And my character flaw is I hate technology.
I love that.
And that is like my favorite stuff to go for. Because I love the like he was a half dragon fighter in Dungeons and Dragons, and my flaw was doesn't understand society stuff. So like he's not good with forks and spoons. He doesn't understand like customs and whatnot, because he's from a tribe and all that good jazz. So I like that kind of flaws and stuff. I like to make sure my flaws have an actual impact on the campaign, where it's not just like some BS like I'm arrogant or whatever,
Yeah. So my big thing and my favorite thing to do, like that's kind of on that, is I always make a half-elf bard, and it depends on like what the campaign's looking like, that they're like, I guess, fault is. But recently it's been my bard is a mute, so she's great at performing and she can pass charisma checks, but she can't speak. So she just kind of stares at you and you're either really moved by her staring at you or you're really confused. There's no in between.
See, there's some cool stuff you can pull with that too, though, because like you don't have to communicate verbally with everything. You could just touch your chest to show compassion, or just explain the different expressions on the face or different hand movements. If I was going for a mute, I would definitely make my character a lot more modest, a lot more semi-nobilic, but that way, it kind of gave an era of like kind of grace behind its movements. That way I could be like, she parts her hands slightly to show contempt or something,
Yeah. The entire goal was to make people actually listen to the depth of the role play instead of what I was saying.
Yeah. All of that. That's awesome.
So yeah. But it's super fun. She's my favorite. Her name is Amelia.
It's a good name.
Yeah. She's very tiny. And she's very, very not shy, but she's not exactly nice in the best ways. Like, she's altogether a nice person, but like, if you're stupid, she's like, why? Why are you dumb?
Right. I always like to go with, honor and like duty type characters. So like Brimthen's always about doing what's right and, showing honor and being respect and that kind of thing. Try to go that direction with stuff.
Well, every character I've ever made has always been, I'm either doing this to learn something or I'm doing this to stop doing something that I'm doing every day.
Oh, I got that.
I'm either out there to explore and learn, or I'm there to get away from something. Like something that I'm tired of instead of something that I'm running from, kind of thing. Like Ilana on the SMP, she's very knowledge driven. She's very, this is a new place. I want to know these new things. And if my knowledge can be used for good or help somebody, then it's worth it.
I like that. And I got that from the character you were playing too, is what's funny. Brimthen is slowly slipping towards his less than ideal tendencies. So it's been interesting. But I don't know. I don't know where we'll go with really on KFX at the end of the day. It's still growing. It's still a thing that, I've not left it, is what I'm saying,
You just need to take some time to give it the proper attention it deserves.
Exactly. So we'll see how it goes after a while. But yeah. So, with Warhammer, you've gotten into Drukhari stuff. What would be another army you'd be going towards?
I don't know, honestly. I know that it's the same models, but Harlequins seem really fun.
There's nothing wrong with going on to the same models and just painting them differently and having two sets of stuff. Because I've seen people that have 7,000-8,000 points worth of just, Imperial Guard. Just to get the different versions of them.
Whenever I was looking at, Sigmar, I guess, I really wanted to do, I think there's like a dinosaur army, and I really wanted to do that. But when I was getting into it, nobody at the shop that I played at, or even in the area, played Sigmar. So I was sad because I really, really wanted a dinosaur army. Yeah. Like, that was the motivator. I was like, I want to paint some dinosaurs.
Yeah. See,
and
Nance is who's got me into Age of Sigmar. So I already have like 4 or 5 armies of 40k. I've got Adeptus Mechanicus. I've got a Tau army that's not painted. I've got a Tyrannid army. All of these are 2,000 plus points. And then I've got an Imperial Guard army, and I have an Imperial Knight army. And
my fiance has Adeptus, so I know what those are. They're so cool looking.
Cyborg, alien, the cyborg humans on Mars that worship the machine. Love it.
And I love the orcs too. I like the concept that they're so dumb and they're so magically inclined that if they believe something works enough, then it works.
Mm-hmm.
Like 2 guns taped together, it works.
Yep, that's the orc way.
I love it, and red makes them go fast.
Yes. And
when I first started, I had like a little start collecting box of orcs, and I painted them all pink because my rationalization and the lore reason was it was once red, but they spend a little too much time outside.
Bruh, my favorite thing I've ever heard was I was listening to some competitive Warhammer, and it was when the orcs wasn't doing very good in the meta, and they were like, and the orcs showed up, and they had a lot of fun today. They always have fun, because they do. Every orc player is just there to have fun. They aren't trying to win, even when they're in meta. Like, they're there to just have fun.
Yeah, I love orcs. They're so fun. They look so dumb. They're so cute. They're like pugs. They're ugly and they're cute.
So when I moved back to Tennessee and rekindled my high school friendship with Nance, he was really big into Total War Warhammer 2, and that's set in Age of Sigmar days. So when I showed him my 40K, he was like, well, do they have it for like this time period? I'm like, yeah, that's called Age of Sigmar, and we decided to sit down and do some Age of Sigmar. So now I have the Skeleton Army, the Bone Reapers of Omnasius or something like that. I got a Skaven army for him, who he's going to be painting and working on, and then I have Lizardman army. And
that's awesome.
We have themed both of our armies, or all three of the armies really, on what we would use in Total War Warhammer 2. We didn't like look up any like meta guides or anything like that. We literally picked Archon the Black with like all of the roster that I use on Total War Warhammer 2, or stuff that was close. And then same thing with Lizardman. I'm playing Krokgar, and he's playing Queek. And you know, I've got Engine of the Gods as one of my models, and I don't even think it's a good model or something like that. Like I've picked out what was close to that game and built armies off of it, and I think it's gonna be really cool because we can go look at the game, and we're not even painting it by the book. Like usually you paint your armies a certain color based on what the books and rules go for. We are painting them the exact colors from Total War Warhammer 2. So it's cool. Awesome. Because I can go into the game and go into free cam and like go down onto the battlefield level and look closely at what Queek riding, you know, whatever his dinosaur's name is, and I can like pick the colors based off of that. So it's going to be really exciting to do that.
That's awesome.
Yep.
I love. No, besides that, I play a little bit of Magic. I'm actually in the process of making a blue-white draw control deck. Oh. So I'm a jerk is what I'm saying.
Yep.
And but it's not anything that anybody's really built for. So my deck it's got, so you know the it's Commander. So you know the Commander, that's the little bunny that's like you tap it and each player draws a card.
I think I've heard of it, but I'm not 100% sure.
Well, anyway, that's what he does. And he's really cheap to get out, so you get him out and you tap it, and of course the other player's like, a free card, of course. And then you send out Psychosis Crawler.
Now I know what Psychosis Crawler is.
Psychosis Crawler is whenever you draw, take damage. So then I have a card that's basically like a land that says anytime I draw, heal. So I heal all my damage away. And then I have Psychosis Crawler, and I keep making you draw, and you lose health anytime you draw, like even if it's your normal draw phase. And then I have things to duplicate my Psychosis Crawler, so it duplicates the amount of damage you take every time you draw.
That is a really cool bunny. I'm looking at Quain right now.
Yeah,
the
Quain.
Meddler.
Yeah, he's super cool. I love him.
That's pretty cool.
I really want the full art, but I don't have it.
From Commander's Legends block. See, I didn't get to see too much of the Commander Legends block. That makes sense. But I proxy a lot. I do a lot of proxies. But of course, I don't take them to events or anything serious. It's purely just friend stuff.
Fun.
Yeah. But what we like to do at, my house rules kind of thing. So I print off these like decks that are like $7,000.
Yeah, and you just
play, and it is hilarious matches because it is the most crazy crap on the planet. It is insanity what happens on most of these decks because like I have this Urza deck that literally just makes a machine. It puts out a whole bunch of 0 mana cost artifacts. And they tap for mana because Urza makes all your artifacts tap for mana. So they become 0 mana cost, like mana rocks, and you just make a whole bunch of those and then just play through your whole entire deck. Like, you just put your whole deck on the field as soon as you're done, and it is hilarious. And I've designed one of those kind of decks for each color. So we've got a green one, a red one, a black one, white, and so on. And then I have 5 color dragon, which is every good dragon in the game plus every good land and good card. And then I've got 5 color Golos deck, which is literally the top 10 of each color in a deck. So, whatever the best of the best cards are, that deck's like $11,000.
That sounds exhausting.
I printed it for $10.
Love it.
So I probably have like, I don't know, $60,000 more than that, like, worth of decks over there. And it's all printer paper and like lands behind them and in sleeves. And they're so fun to play with. So we love those. And I like precons. I like precon commander decks.
Fun stuff. I love that.
But my kind of story on Magic, I used to play a lot back in the day. I solely was standard. I didn't believe in doing anything except for standard. As soon as my cards rotated out, I sold them. I bought new cards. I kept a consistent year by year perfect standard deck. And I would just go into Friday Night Magic and I would be as competitive as possible. Out of every game that I wish I didn't do what I did, I would prefer to go back in time and play Magic differently, knowing what I know now. Like, right. Because as soon as I got away from League of Legends, Dota, like the hyper competitive games out there, and then like hyper competitive Magic, I learned to love those games in different ways. Like, Commander isn't about winning. I don't care if I lose. I just want to see my opponent do 30 different things and then just blow up the field and win. Like, I love flashy Magic way more than winning. So I just would rather, like, even if I'm not the one that's trying, like, I never go into Magic anymore trying to win. Like, I never try to win. I just go in.
I have a lot, like, whenever Garrett and I played like Magic and stuff at the shop that we went to, there were too many people that were really good, or they were just jerks. And if you were learning the game, they would like tell you that you couldn't do things just because they had more experience than you when you could.
Oh, that's super lame.
So, yeah.
Those guys are trying to work. Now, that's something I never did. I never cheated. I never, if it was a new player, I would help them beat me.
There was this I had Landfall. So I had a Landfall deck and I was saying stuff, and I don't remember, but it's like if you do something with one card, then you get to search your deck for a land. And I had another card that let me do it twice. And they're like, you can't look for another land off of that. I'm like, it never says that I can't. Yeah. It says each time, or what was it? It was like, okay, I remember. It was like if I like attacked with something or something like that, take a land from your deck, put it on the field, and then another thing would trigger. It says if your land enters the field, then you can look for another land and put it in your hand. And so I did that, and they tried to be like, what are you doing? Like, you can't look for a land off of that. You can't put it. It doesn't trigger landfall if it came from your deck. I'm like, yeah, it does. What?
Yeah, it does.
Like, it was the stupidest thing. Like, it was like my second day learning Magic, and like they tried to do that. I was like, you're crazy.
Yeah. Landfall is literally if land touches battlefield, it triggers.
Yeah.
It don't care how it got there. If it wasn't there before and now it's there, it is landfall.
Exactly. I don't know. It rubbed me the wrong way. I tell you what. I never played another game with him ever again. I'm just like, screw you, dude.
The one thing that like I'm also proud of it, because there's still a little bit of me that's like, yeah, I was that good at Magic.
Like a little gremlin.
The little gremlin in the background, but at the same time, I wish I wasn't doing it, but I was constantly on the road. Railroad had me traveling a bunch. So what I would do with my railroad money is like I still wanted that like kick of playing Magic, but I couldn't keep Magic cards at a hotel all the time like that, you know.
Right.
So I would go into God knows where, you know, Pennsylvania or something, and just walk into like a little mom and pop style comic store that had like 10 or 15 people. And I would just go, all right, give me 2 booster boxes. And I'd make a deck out of those 2 booster boxes and then win. And I know it rubbed some people the wrong way. And I look back on it now and I think about those people, you know, the usuals that was always there at the store. And then there's just suddenly this dude comes in, cracks a bunch of packs and wins the game that night. I know it didn't look good. But it felt good.
Yeah, it's some good confidence to give yourself. I mean, at least you don't see those people every day, and you did that to them.
Yeah, but I you know, I've got a lot more empathy now than I did back then, so I kind of look back on those moments a little more sourly than I used to.
I tell you what, though, it is the biggest culture shock going from literal the South to Missouri. Like, I don't hate Missouri, but I hate the people here. Like, they're crazy. Like, I held open the door for somebody, and they were like, "Oh, you're not from here." And I was like, "I'm being nice. What?" Okay. And then we asked for sweet tea. No, don't do that. They don't know how to make sweet tea here.
I don't know nothing about sweet tea.
No, they don't.
I made some beautiful honey lavender sweet tea. Like, I had this amazing.
They had the nerve, Britt, the nerve to give me brisk sweet tea. Tastes like nothing but cane sugar and like diabetes.
I like brisk tea, but I like the lemon one. I don't like the basic.
Normal, like, just brisk, like, non, like, super sweet tea is fine. But for some reason, Brisk had it in their mind. They're like, you know, it's a great fucking idea. I'm using my 1 curse word, like my 2 curse words on that. You know, it's a great idea. Putting an obscene amount of sugar in this tea.
Yeah, it is.
Like, I've never felt so personally attacked. And I'm Cajun. Okay. So you don't mess with sweet tea. You don't mess with gumbo or jambalaya. You don't do it. You just don't.
I understand.
And you don't mess with my Tonys. So I am having a difficult time.
Speaking on food, I currently, like, right before this stream, and I was worried about running out of time just a little bit, I'm currently doing a 24-hour sous vide on a chuck roast.
Ooh.
And I'm really excited.
So where's my invite, though?
Hey, anybody's invited. Like,
oh, you want to hear what I made last night, then?
What'd you make?
I made double. Okay, so I fried some chicken legs, right? Some little chicken wing leg things.
Classic.
They're like the drumsticks, but they're really little, kind of thing. You know
I prefer the drums over the flats.
Yeah, they're drums. So I fried some drums. I double fried them so they got real nice and crispy. And then I made a homemade garlic parm sauce.
Ooh.
And I made some mac and cheese. And the garlic parm sauce was so good that since I have some extra, we're putting it on our, like, vegetables tonight.
Yeah. See, that's my favorite thing about cooking. See, I like to make these sauteed mushroom chicken style things where it's mushroom sauce cream chicken style. And, like, I love, after that's done, just scooping a little bit of that and putting it in mashed taters or whatever, put it on whatever vegetables. Like, that is the best part about that stuff. Like, anytime you have a good sauce. Yeah.
Like, I always get paranoid if I don't have, like, a meat thermometer when I'm cooking chicken. But it came out so good.
And that's why I like sous vide. Because sous vide cooks it perfectly every single time. So.
Wait. Like, I can cook steak, I can do all that. Just chicken scares me because I know that I could possibly get someone really sick, and I don't trust myself enough. I mean, like, it's not like I've ever undercooked chicken, but I just get scared. Like, I don't want to be the person that causes somebody to be sick. Because I get sick over, like, the simplest things. Like, I'm allergic to potassium. Potassium, like, if I eat a banana, my tongue swells up and I, like, die. But, you know, whatever.
So, don't bring banana bread. Got it.
No, banana bread is fine because the potassium's cooked out of it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. That is interesting.
So I can eat, like, cooked products, but I can't eat anything with high potassium. So, like, have you ever had a Body Armor? You know, the drinks?
Yeah, I love them.
They have a buttload of potassium in it. You want to know how I found out I was allergic to potassium?
Curious.
My fiance experimented on me. Because I used to just think I was allergic to bananas. But it was potassium because he gave me a Body Armor that has a buttload of potassium in it. And I started having a reaction. Granted, it wasn't a big one because it wasn't enough potassium. But I started having a reaction. He's like, "You're not allergic to bananas. You're allergic to potassium." And I'm like, "And you're going to be allergic to living." But, you know, it worked out.
That is some quick doghouse right there.
Yeah. Like, what part of your brain made you think that possibly, like, murdering your significant other was okay? Like, what if I was, like, actually going into anaphylaxis there?
Yeah, that could have been bad.
I mean, I'm no better. I used to, like knowledgeably be like, yeah, I can't eat bananas, but I also locked myself in the bathroom and ate some banana cream pie because it's my favorite. So.
Experimenting. But anyway.
But yeah.
Nah, like cooking was for the longest time one of my favorite things to do, because when I was in preschool, we had these like mirrors, and it was like stand in front of the mirror and it'll make you look like a firefighter, because it had like a costume around the mirror and everything.
That's cool.
Stand in front of the mirror and you can look like a police officer or a doctor. And then one of them was chef, and I was just like, I like chef.
Yeah.
And from then on,
I wanted to be a chef too.
From then on, I wanted to be a chef. And
then I worked food service, and I realized this is what I'd be dooming myself to.
I just made it a hobby. I didn't want to go much further than that.
Exactly, yeah. I accidentally insulted somebody maybe a couple months ago. But I jokingly said, like, I love cooking, but I wouldn't waste my time going to a culinary school because half the restaurants that hire chefs will just hire you without the schooling. And my friend who went to culinary school, and they themselves said it was a waste of money, just looked at me, and I was like, I didn't mean it that way. I didn't.
I got you.
But yeah, I like baking a lot because me and my grandmother used to bake. I make some killer macaroons.
Oh.
With homemade buttercream.
That is the topic. So, with me and baking, so I can barely bake anything that I've set my mind to, but I always say I'm not that great at baking, and it's because of macaroons. I cannot get my macaroons come out right. Now, I haven't tried since leaving my old apartment, and I do believe it was my old oven, because my old oven did not have good doors on it.
Did you?
I don't think.
Did you leave out, like, what's going to be your pastry? Did you leave out the batter for about 30 minutes until it developed a film?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's what messes a lot of people up. And then whenever you're, like, baking them, like, when I first started it, I would have the problem of it wouldn't form the foot right.
Yeah.
But eventually I got past that because I wasn't leaving it out long. So I'd leave it out a little bit longer. And then when you bake, and as soon as they rise and they look like they're done, take them out. Because if you leave them too long, then they're like sharp little crunchies. But
I couldn't get them to rise at all, is the problem.
Yeah, I don't know what that would be.
I really do think it was my oven at the time, because I made them 3 separate times, following 3 different separate recipes and junk. And each time they came out the exact same. And I think it was my oven, because my oven doesn't close very good. It doesn't have a good seal on it. So like, I know
that's
with
probably it. It probably didn't rise because there was like a little bit of an opening for the air to get in. So things don't rise open air.
Because my souffles and my molten lava cakes, they do good, but they weren't amazing, because usually one part of it was a little bit more done than the other parts of it.
I want to make a lava cake now. I'm hungry.
So I figure that the macaroons are a bit more finicky than most things.
They're really sensitive.
So I need to sit down and do it now that I've moved back up to Tennessee and everything.
I love macaroons.
My old kitchen, and this is absolutely no joke, was the size of most people's closets.
Lovely.
A normal person standing inside it, you could fit 1.5 people. Like, you had just enough distance inside of it to take 1 step to your right or 1 step to your left, but that was it. It was literally this, and just envision this for me for a second here. It was a wall on the left, and there was a little island on it with maybe a letter paper worth of space to put in there. So fairly decent long window, but like the actual counter space was only about a paper long. So you, right to the right of that is the oven, and then there is maybe 1/4 of a sheet of paper worth of counter space, just enough to put like a spoon on, and then it was a sink. And then it was the corner where you put like your microwave, and that's basically the only thing you could put there because it's too hard to get back into that corner.
Oh my goodness.
And then I had a rice cooker to the left of the microwave, just right next to the 1 basin sink. And directly to the right of the microwave was the refrigerator, which led to the wall that led to the door. So you have literally no counter space. I was putting cutting boards on top of my oven to do my prep work and everything. And there was plenty of cabinets because those were all up atop, but I had only a single drawer. And that drawer, you wouldn't have been able to put a pencil sideways in. Like, you maybe half a pencil sideways in. So just good enough for like spatulas or rags. But I had nowhere for silverware. I had to keep all my silverware in a skull plastic cup next to the sink. So there was literally like no room. And then above the refrigerator, I had put a toaster oven, which neither the toaster oven or the oven was ever secure enough to do macaroons. But literally no counter space. And I made amazing stuff. I made beef Wellingtons, I made risottos, I made friggin' souffles, molten lava cakes, chicken cordon bleu. I made all kinds of stuff out of that tiny kitchen. And loved it. I made 15-gallon pots worth of friggin' chili.
Lovely.
Oh, it was awesome.
Oh my goodness.
So, but very, very tiny.
Stand. When me and Garrett first started looking at apartments, I was like, I don't want one of those apartments with the teeny tiny kitchen. I mean, it could be small, but at least to have it be a little open.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you don't feel like I'm like I'm suffocating. So yeah, it's like the big thing.
So anyway,
I love cooking. It's so fun.
We'll take just a moment here to take any questions that chat might have. This is the segment where anybody here in chat would like to ask any questions of Nozomi or even myself. Start just a small conversation about a few things. Feel free to just post in the chat, but we're going to start wrapping it up. And in case nobody else has any questions, I do have a question for Nozomi real quick here, and it is the thing that I ask in every single podcast because my community wants to know from everybody that I ever talk to in these interviews, do you watch anime?
Yes, I do.
So what's your favorite animes?
Kill la Kill.
Kill la Kill? I love Kill la Kill.
So good.
Gurren
I love the
Lagann?
art style.
Pulled any from Gurren Lagann or whatever it's called? Lagan, however you say it.
Yeah.
The precursor to Kill la Kill.
Yeah. Have I seen Overlord? I haven't. I feel like I should. I have this paranoia about anime though, where I have to have give it a few years for 2 or 3 seasons to come out or for it to finish for me to watch it, because I don't like waiting on things.
I definitely understand that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So with Fruits Basket, the original one, I was like, yeah, it's just this one season, we're good. And now there's an entire new Fruits Basket that's playing into the manga, and I'm like, I really don't want to spend my time waiting on I don't know how many seasons of Fruits Basket, even though I love Fruits Basket.
Yeah. And that's the other thing that's kind of sad in the anime industry is a lot of really, really, really good, strong animes, but were made by smaller companies, don't usually get that second or third season. And a lot of longtime viewers of this podcast will know exactly what I'm about to say next, which is Roka. Roka has been in that category for a long time. It's literally my number one anime. But I just recently found out, so this is the first podcast I've been able to say this on, it's getting a second season. My podcast worked.
Me with Oron High School Host Club. It needs a second season. It needs it right now. I've been waiting. When did it come out? Hang on. Oron High School Host Club.
A lot of my community has made a big joke of, I just started the podcast to get Roka a second season. I'm trying to advertise an old anime that nobody ever gets to really see anymore.
2006.
2006. That's a long time to be waiting.
2006. Yeah, that was the first episode premiere. So it came out in 2006. It's 2021. I've been waiting.
Let's see. I'm curious now when Roka came out. Roka release date. Roka released. Yeah, you got me beat. I'm 2015.
2006. Me and the entire community have been waiting for years. So.
The saddest anime I have watched.
I'm trying to remember mine.
It's easy to say Clanad, but I hadn't watched all of Clanad.
I can never finish it. I always know when something bad's happening and I stop. If I don't watch it, it doesn't make it sad, right? Right?
Right. Clanad is a trigger for my buddies Lost. I just bring it up and it's over. He's done.
I think what mine is. I don't remember.
I'm gonna say a very odd one.
Angel Beats was pretty sad. I don't think it's the saddest I've ever watched, but it is one of the sad ones.
Yeah, I understand that.
I didn't like the ending at all. And if you haven't seen it, close your ears because I'm gonna spoil it a little bit.
I haven't seen it, so may not want to do any spoilers.
Okay, no spoilers, but Angel Beats in a whole is really, really good. Everything up till the final episode is immaculate. Yeah.
I have hurt my nephew with these two, and I call them my saddest two, but for two different reasons on both of them. The first one is Fate Zero, and I know how weird that's going to sound to people, but there's a part of me that really connects with Kuritsugu Emiya, and his moments where he is being the coldest man on the planet kind of hits me really hard. And the second one is School Live. Or no, it's not School Live. Hold up. Yeah, it is School Live. I always get it mixed up with the thing that it's making fun of with that. Let me go double check real fast. I think it's School Live. Yeah, it's School Live. And I used both of these and showed my nephew both of them. And now every time he sits down to watch an anime with me, he goes, "Are important people going to die in this one, and am I going to cry again?"
Listen, it's not the entire anime. Well, I mean, no, it's not the entire anime, but the specific episode of FMA with the dog.
Yeah.
I could not watch that anime after that. I stopped. I watched all up until it, and then I got to that point. I said, "I'm done. I cannot do this." It's not even that. It's Edward.
Daddy?
It's so sad.
Yeah. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Like, I was loving it. And then I got to that point and I was like, this is not for me.
Not for me. I get it.
And then the original Fruits Basket had a really kind of sad last couple of episodes.
The easiest ways to get me teared up and having issues is playing on any sort of like mental disorder type stuff, like where your reality isn't the same as another reality. And that's why School Live hit me so hard, because like, and it was just one episode. It was just the first episode of School Live.
So, not an anime.
Okay.
Definitely a big trigger warning to anybody that's played this, though. If you've played Doki Doki Literature Club, I'm a big fan, huge fan. And Doki Doki Literature Club is a really fun visual novel. But you're playing this character and you join a club with your childhood best friend and you're like, oh, I get to meet some of these girls, maybe I could date a girl, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it plays on like their own faults. And I'm not going to say why, because if you haven't played it, I'm not going to ruin it.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, and so specifically your childhood friend Sayori, that gets me. That gets me so hard, because like I'm like, oh look, it's fucking me.
That's it. That's your full limit.
I'm sorry. It's only when things hit hard.
Yeah, I get it.
But yeah, it's like that hits so hard.
And
it never loses any weight the more you play through it.
I've never been big on visual novels and stuff. Like, I've just never could get into
There's
them.
another one that I used to play that's like weird, but in like an okay way. It's called Kata wa Sojo. And it's basically you're a student that has like a heart defect, that if you're under too much stress, you like suffer a heart attack or your heart can stop. So you get sent to this specific high school with a bunch of high schoolers that have special needs or like disabilities like that. And you go through and you learn about all these different characters, and eventually you can fall in love with one. But if you choose the wrong thing or you make somebody too uncomfortable and you start a fight or something, then you can have a heart attack and die. But
that's insane.
So there's this painter girl that doesn't have any arms, but she has her feet, and she's painter, and she's so cool. And then there's this like girl on the track team that doesn't have any legs, which is super cool. And the entire message of it is like, despite your, you know, whatever's wrong, you shouldn't have any limitations for yourself. And it's a really good message. And then there's another girl that's my favorite that happens to have burns on like 80% of her body, but she's like the sweetest character.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I played that a while back, but I'm a big visual novel fan, and those are some of my favorites.
And see, I love that kind of message. That's what I try to go through with a lot of my content that I produce. That is like straight up the message I go for, because it's don't judge a book by its cover. You know, there's a lot more to people than what just meets the eye. You know, I try to go with this very kind of creepy graveyard, you know, lich theme type deal. You know, Rob Zombie in the background here, and like, you know, creepy intros and stuff like that. But when you get into my content, it's me going, you can do it. You're the best. Motivation. Here's some hype. Like, everybody can reach their dreams.
Everybody joins my stream and think it's gonna be a cute little cat girl. No. I mean, I'm kind of cute, but you know, I just yell at things and curse and talk about my non-existent social medias.
Oh, yeah. I know nothing about those. Anyway.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Never saw you on there.
Never. But anyway, I think we'll wrap it up. I think that was awesome. It was great talking with you here. I appreciate you being on the podcast. Let everybody know what you do and where to find you and where to look you up and whatever you would like to tell people. This is kind of your moment in the sun.
First of all, thanks for popping in, everybody. From my stream, I saw you. I did. And my channel is Nozomiitv. You can call me Noz. I play a bunch of games. I draw. I'm a little obnoxious sometimes. And that's about it.
Well, thank you for being on here. It was a pleasure, and you have a great rest of your day. And that will be it. I'll be sticking around on the stream for just a little while longer to talk to some of chat, but you have a great day.
Yeah, you too. It was a pleasure being here.